بسم الله الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. I ask Allah to grant us beneficial knowledge that is for us and not against us, inshallah. Last week we discussed about Allah saying, "Remember me and I will remember you, and be grateful to me and do not deny me." This was ayah 152. And just to give a little recap over that one, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون. So remember me, I will remember you. What great opportunity we have. That simply remembering Allah brings His remembrance of us. And He did not forget us because He's all knowing of everything at all times. So what does it mean that He remembers us? When He says, I will remember you, doesn't He always remember us? So what is the purpose of Him saying, I will remember you? Does He say things that are purposeless without any meaning? When it's already the default that He's remembering us, He doesn't forget us. There's nothing that He's unaware of. Why does He say, I will remember you? It means that it's a specific mercy when He remembers you. That when He remembers you, it is a greater blessing, a greater advancement between your relationship, relationship between yourself and Him. Means that there is special focus on you, just like Allah is Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. He's entirely merciful. He's merciful to all of His creation. He's constantly merciful to His creation. If He wasn't, they would not be able to even drink water. They would be suffering. They cannot blink. They cannot breathe air. Only because of His mercy, He allows them to do those things. Even Netanyahu gets to drink water. He's ever in need of Allah's mercy, but completely forgetful of it. Him and many like him and those lesser than him and those more than him, all are under the subjugation of needing Allah's mercy for them to even function and to continue to do the evil that they do. So He's entirely merciful. And only Allah can be Ar-Rahman, because Allah can be merciful even to those who are bad. We cannot be merciful to those who are bad. Allah can be merciful to those who curse at Him, who don't believe in Him, who believe in other than Him. We cannot do that. It's very difficult for us to do that. If someone harms us, we cannot really turn around and continue to sustain them. Someone comes in your home and is a guest in your home and is fully reliant upon you to feed them and house them and give them extra clothes and a bed and all that, and they turn around and say bad things to the neighbor about you, you would say, okay, fine, leave the house then. If you feel that way, really, you would feel betrayed. And yet you're not supplying this person air. You're not making their heart pump. You're not causing the blood to flow in their bodies. They're still reliant on other than you for many of their functions. But the what little that you do give, that a person does give, they will feel betrayed. That this person went to their neighbor and said things, or thanked them instead of thanking you for providing those things, and praised them when they did nothing. They could do nothing when you did so much. So Allah is still Rahman to those people. And then He's Rahim to those who believe in Him. He's specifically merciful to the Muslims, those who recognize Him, acknowledge Him, and worship Him, and choose Him above everything else. And so similarly, Allah remembers everyone. But when He says here, I will remember you, it's a specific remembrance. It's a remembrance that brings about goodness with it. What kind of goodness? Specific to you. The goodness that you need in your life. It's not encapsulated in words, because it's tailored to every single person's needs. So when you remember Allah, you are rectifying your situation. This is one of the reasons why making dhikr is greater for the heart than anything else. It polishes the heart. Because when you remember Allah, Allah's reward towards you is specific and tailored to you, and it's when He does something. Imagine He's the owner of the universe. and everything is in agreement with whatever he chooses and whatever he says. So the world is with you, the universe is with you, the angels are with you. And so when you remember Allah alone, there's a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ relayed to us. When you remember Allah alone, he remembers you alone. But if you remember him in a gathering, he remembers you in a gathering better than that. And do not deny me. And to deny Allah or to be ungrateful to Allah is to be a disbeliever. Being ungrateful is the same as kufr, right? Takfurun. It's being ungrateful. Those who do not believe in Allah, they have actually spent some time and focused on deciding that whatever it is that they have, whatever faculties they have, abilities that they have, capabilities they have, opportunities they have, whatever they have been given in this life, whatever it is that they love and they enjoy and they are using, and even if there are things that they don't like, but actually it's good for them, it challenges them and makes them better than what they would have been otherwise, didn't come from Allah. They decided it came from the universe, or this is just how life is, Big Bang Theory, and so we attribute things to other than Allah. Scientists who consider themselves very intelligent have a very hard time accepting that Allah exists. And that is being ungrateful to Allah. Because they are within the web of completely in being in need of Allah. And if they stepped out of their own ego for a little bit, they will see that they are completely and fully ever in need of Allah. They cannot do anything without His permission or His having given them those things. So to attribute it to other than Allah is being ungrateful to Him, just like you would feel that the person is attributing all that you have done for them to the neighbor or to no one. All right, they call their mom and their dad and or whoever, their friend, and they say, "Yeah, I took care of myself. I got myself this bed. I got myself these clothes. I didn't need no one. I got myself the food. I opened the fridge and I got food myself. Where'd it come from? Well, I mean, whatever, it was there. I got it. I mean, I have a roof over my head. Whose roof is it? It's a roof over my head. What? I mean, why are you being so picky? Why are you, not seeing the fact that this is normal or whatever the reasons that these scientists have? That doesn't even make sense. Even other than these scientists, those who deny Allah and the favors that He bestows upon them are ungrateful, and therefore it is the same meaning as kufr. So we move on to the next ayah for this week, inshallah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. O you who have believed, seek comfort in patience and prayer. Allah is truly with those who are patient. Or in another translation, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. So once you have believed, you are going to live a life that is different from those who don't believe. The path of a believer is very different from the path of a non-believer. And how we respond to situations should not be the same as how other people respond, because you're in knowledge. You're in greater understanding of how the universe works. It behooves the one who understands how the universe works to work in a way that is elevated and beyond those who don't understand how the universe works. It cannot be the same. And in fact, it's a degradation if you follow those who don't understand how the universe works, who don't even acknowledge the one who created them, who don't acknowledge them, who don't acknowledge Him, can never have the understanding of what to do when a situation arises, because they don't even know of their situation as it is in default state. So when a situation arises, their responses are not going to be, because when a situation comes, the person's initial response is what is deep rooted within a person. What is their internal dialogue that they have come to understand and come to agree with, and come to terms or come to accept. Their internal dialogue is who they are. And that gets revealed when situations of adversity pop up. And if they're not fully on par with what the reality is when they're not in a conflicted state, how can someone think that when they are in a conflicted state, they're going to come out with greater wisdom at that moment? Rather, the one who understands who the universe is and comes to terms and realizes where they are and what they're doing and who Allah is and what is their place, where they came from, where they're going, what it is that they're supposed to do while they're here. And they have a sense of peace and harmony with the universe because they are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Those people will have a different reaction and should have a different reaction. And Allah is telling us what the reaction should be. That once you believe, you're not going to have the same kind of reactions as others. How should you be when something happens? What is the reaction? Should we get dramatic? Should we get emotional? Should we rally together? Should we get political? Should we get, should we go out in the streets? Should we start tearing our clothes? Should we start screaming? What is the best response to a conflict? What is the best response to things that come around our lives? And Allah tells us, this is an action that we have to take. We have to be proactive. It's not something that just comes as is. Your emotional being might want you to do otherwise. Your influence that you received from others and the environment around you might push you to do otherwise. But Allah said, seek comfort in patience and prayer. Be patient and pray. Do all the things that will give you patience. What is that? Another word for fasting is patience. And also charity. You have to be patient to give charity. Somebody wants something that you have. Somebody wants something, sometimes what you want. That's something you had plans for. But you give it to them, that comes with patience. So increase in things that bring patience within yourself. So when you cut off the dunya from your heart, when you fast and you cut off the faculties of feeding the desires on all its form of the body, and when you give charity, when you cut off the desire of the heart, you increase yourself in patience. Someone says, I can't be patient. Someone said this to me. Someone did this to me. It's very hard for me to be patient. It's an act. It's an action that someone has to employ and has to decidedly come to the conclusion that I am going to clamp down and I'm going to hold on. And being patient burns. It burns. But being patient brings about more patience. It's like a muscle. When it burns, you then have the ability to be more patient next time, to have a greater level of patience next time. Now science has come about and they have done studies where those who get angry, they found that there are incidences of getting angry. If they succumb to it and they express anger, the next time something makes them angry, they will get angry faster and slightly worse than before. And the more that one gives into being angry, the more they become angry over things. And the faster they become angry over things. So it's actually in your own benefit. And Allah knows what He created. That when you are patient, you are, even though you're hurting and it's burning and you want to do everything and you want to tear something down or you want, whatever, however someone is dealing with their pain. If they're patient, then they are building themselves. They are refraining from destroying themselves. Whereas anger, unjustified anger, not all anger, because some anger is justified. Unjustified anger is a source of destruction. If it's not calculated and if it's not dealt with and used in response in a way that is appropriate, then it's oppression. If the child drops something and it's a glass mug or something that was made by granny, let's say, so the father gets upset. My mother made this and you dropped it. And I told you 100 times not to pick up this mug. And then he gets angry. And if he's patient, he tells his child, see, it broke. I told you, and you didn't listen, and now it broke. And now we have to pick up the pieces. Those are the consequences of not listening to your father. Very likely the child will learn a lesson for life. But if the father then starts barreling down and starts thinking about his authority and his ego and how dare this child did not listen to me, I was the one, the father, the one in authority said to him, and how dare he did not listen to the words that came out of my mouth. I am like a semi-god. I'm not doing very well in that regard with my own relationship with God, but this child should treat me like that. And so this child should have a whooping because they need to learn a lesson. And so they go in disproportionate response to the child in regards to what the child actually did. And this is oppression. So it's a doorway, a very fast doorway, easy doorway, wide open, breezy doorway for someone to fall into oppression when they're angry. And this is why it is advised not to get angry. Do not get angry. Because once you get angry, you have an issue. What does that mean? Don't feel anger? Of course, we're going to feel anger. The Prophet felt anger. All the messengers and prophets felt anger. It's what you do with it when you feel angry. Allah says in the Quran, those who suppress their anger means you will feel angry. There are times you're going to feel angry. What do you do with it? The praiseworthy notion is to suppress the anger so that you can think clearly. So when someone is angry, they cannot think clearly. And this is why divorce at the time of anger is invalid. And there's a difference of opinion on this. Some say, oh, you have to have gone to a level of anger where you are so lost and you are almost insane. This is incorrect. The hadith didn't say that. The Prophet ﷺ didn't say that. The ruling is that when you get angry, because getting angry in itself is an elevated state of emotionality that brings about regret most of the time. That in itself shows that you were not in the right state of mind. You don't have to be gone mad. Gone mad means that you don't know what's in front of you, what's behind you, what's anything. In that case, the person offering the divorce, the sister should accept it because he has bouts of going mad. Nobody wants to be married to someone who has partial insanity because of, situations around them. How does that make sense? It's not that. It's to the point. Anyone who gets angry, they're not going to. Yeah, anyone who has experienced anger, they know that when they're angry, they're going to feel a certain way, and then when they calm down, they're not going to feel the same way. End of story. And then they are going to deal with the decision more rationally. Allah does not put the institution of marriage and the benefit of a family and the consequences of lives and the consequences of adult lives and children lives in the hands of someone who gets angry on that moment. It's unfair to say that just because the anger level was one way but not the other way, then this marriage is null and void. No. As soon as a person is angry and they say that, it's not valid. And so it also diffuses this unfortunate habit that some men have, that whenever they get angry, they threaten with divorce. It's like, no, you can't do that because it's invalid anyway. You cannot make this sister's life miserable because you keep scaring her with divorce just because you feel it. You have a sense of authority that you think you're using the deen for. It's not even recognizing the deen as a valid divorce. So you can say it all you want. Doesn't mean anything. Allah does not condone abuse, does not give pathways to abuse, and will not allow his religion to be a method of abuse for another one of his creations. The women are creations of Allah as well, not just the men. The women are creations of Allah as well, and there are women that are beloved to Allah. There are women that He chose as well. And we find them in the Quran. The Quran is not only about all men. We have Maryam alayhi salam. We have the mother of Musa alayhi salam. We have the wife of Fir'aun, alayhi salam. And there are more, but we don't necessarily, it's not necessarily in the Quran. There's Khadija, where, radiallahu anha, where Allah sent her salams. How many men of the time of the Sahaba can say that they got salams from Allah? The Prophet ﷺ was walking around there for a very long time, for many years. When did any of the Sahaba get salams from Allah? But it was a woman that did. And Aisha radiallahu anha, she got salams from Jibreel alayhi salam. How many of the Sahaba, most beloved to the Prophet ﷺ, got salams from Jibreel alayhi salam? So this notion that this religion belongs only to the men and on this and on that, it's just wrong. In fact, every single man who goes for Umrah or Hajj must complete an action that a woman, one single woman, did back in the day, thousands of years ago. And she was not a prophetess. She was not anything, she was just a woman who had tawakkul in Allah. And every man has to do the same thing that she did. So if anyone wants to say, oh, this is the religion of man, this is chauvinistic, it's this and that, whether it's the enemies of Islam or those who manipulate Islam within Islam, they are blindsided by the religion itself. They are not able to see what the religion is. Anyway, I digress from the topic. So to use patience is of your own benefit. And then also prayer. Because prayer connects you to Allah. You're hurting, you're suffering, you're going through something. It's burning and so on. So go in salah and ask Allah for the solution of your problem. When you ask Allah for the solution of your problem, that is where the true solution is. Not going out in streets and protesting and mingling with the opposite gender and slogans and dancing and songs and music and all that stuff and saying we're going to rid the world of injustice by committing injustice. That is unjust actions. Doing that in the street, mingling with the opposite gender is unjust. Listening to music is unjust. Singing and dancing in majority out there is unjust. Making these slogans is unjust. Blocking the pathways is unjust. And then you want to rid the world of injustice by committing these. How does that make sense? And then you have the imams and you have people promoting this because they see in front of their faces, they see some changes, some few changes, and they say, this is the way, yes. And these people don't have light because the one that Allah has given light can see far, not just what's in front of their noses right there. And they will argue with you fiercely. It's, no, I see the change right here. It's right in front of my face. It's tangible. And you say, no, the greater change is further down the road. The actual change is further down the road. You cannot see it. You cannot see it because you don't have light. The way to solve this problem is not this way. It's this way. It's to go to Allah and ask Him. With all that energy that people put out there in protesting, had all of those people, the Muslims, had gone to the masjids and stood there and asked Allah for a solution in their prayers, all of them put that much effort that they put in going out there and protesting and mingling with women. If they went to the masajid and if they got up at night, made tahajjud, and they prayed fajr in the masjid, do you think that Allah would not have caused a difference? Of course there would be a difference. But no, we don't want to do that. It's so archaic. It's not. It's just, it's boring. It's not glamorous. It's not on the news if we go to the masjid. No. This is why Allah says, oh, you who have believed, the ones who believe, this is the way you solve a conflict. Be patient and go to prayer and wait for Allah to give you the response. Ask Him. Allah is truly with those who are patient. If you want Allah on your side, everyone wants Allah on their side, whether they believe it or not, whether they acknowledge Him or not, whether they are Muslim or not. Every single person wants Allah on their side. Everyone wants to be favored. Everyone wants to be chosen. Everyone wants the universe to bend towards them. Everyone wants miracles to happen for them. Everyone wants the successes to come towards them. Everyone wants that. And, people who are not even religious, they say, when something good happens to them, they say, oh, blessed. We're blessed. Who blessed you? Who is it that blessed you? Are you saying Allah's with you because you made $1 million? Is that the criteria for Allah being with someone? You decided? How are you blessed? How do you know that this is blessing? Because it makes you happy? It gives you things? You're able to function in life and not go through difficulty? When Allah says that the most beloved to Him are the ones who are the most tested. So how do you say that that's blessed? But everyone wants Allah to be on their side. There is not a single person. Trump wants Allah to be on his side. Kamala, she wants Allah to be on her side. Netanyahu wants Allah to be on his side. Everyone wants Allah to be on their side, but it's their interpretation. And their interpretation doesn't mean anything because they don't dictate what Allah does and doesn't do, who Allah is or who He isn't. Allah tells us about Himself. And Allah says He is truly with those who are patient. So when you're patient, have no doubt that Allah is with you. The world might not be with you. Whatever it is you're being patient for might be family reasons. Your family did something to you. They're not with you, but Allah's with you. Your friends might have done something. Your friend is not with you. Allah's with you. Business partner, whoever it is, but Allah's with you. Landlord is kicking you out. Allah's with you. If you keep that in mind and you keep that within yourself, I am being patient because that is my path to Allah. And Allah is with those who are patient, and that is why I'm being patient. And for sure, Allah is with you. No doubt. No doubt about it. And within a little while, you will see what happens. I ask Allah to increase us in patience and make us of those who are beloved to Him, and make us of those who run to Him in prayer. Those who run to Him in prayer. Are there any questions? If not, we'll end here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. See you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.